Exposed Vegan Media Podcast. I am your host, Jaja Porter, a wife, mom, triathlete, and vegan chef. On this channel, you'll experience my ongoing docuseries capturing my swim, bike, run, and nutrition journey, featuring all the people I interact with along the way. I am super excited about what I'm about to share today. If you are ready to get started with triathlon, if you haven't done a triathlon in a long time, or you need some motivation, I have two amazing guests for you. Let me introduce you to my guests. Sarah, Angie, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having us. We're so excited.
I'm so excited to see you in your matching She Tries gear.
We're twinning. We're twinning today.
Yes, I'm loving the twinning. I'm loving the twinning. We can talk a little bit about how people can get access to this gear. But why don't you introduce yourselves first to our audience, and then we'll talk a little bit about your why.
I'm Angie Click, and I am the founder of She Tries.
And I'm Sarah Hayes. I'm the champion of enthusiasm. Angie's our champion of confidence. And I'm Angie's partner.
So why don't you give us some history? Take us back. Angie, tell us a little bit about your why, like why She Tries. How did this get started?
Yeah, I'd love to share it. So I was working in a triathlon store that was in a couple different cities, and I was able to, get to know a lot of people in those different cities. And the one common denominator was that I loved helping women, and women were like sponges, and they wanted to be helped. The men kind of felt like they knew it all. They didn't. I would see them at the events, and they just didn't. But the women were just so gracious to have help. And I was at a point where I was not working at the stores that I worked at anymore. And I had two kids of my own, and I did not know how to return to triathlon. I really wanted to have that part of my life back, but I really just didn't know how to start because I didn't feel competitive anymore. My body didn't look the same. I didn't feel the same. I had, these two crazy a baby and a toddler who were running me ragged. And I thought there's probably other women out there just like me that just don't know where to start. So I got started with my own chapter of Try It for Life here in Charleston and started to get some women on board. And we traveled to what was Ramblin' Rose at the time in Charlotte and to do our event. And I'm like, this is crazy. There should be an event right here in our local area, which is Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. And pretty much fast forward, the first event we put on, I was solo, 9 months pregnant, actually, with my third child. And it was a hit. I sold out. I couldn't believe it. I remember going to my husband and being like, hey, we could lose X amount of dollars or this idea could work. I have no idea. And I called a timer up, and he told me the idea would never work, but that I could pay him to do my timing. So I did. And it actually worked. And I found out there were lots of women just like me who needed a place to start, who were once an athlete, who wanted to be an athlete again, or who've never been athletic, who, wanted to try something new. And then I did a second event. I started with a swim run only. And then that was up in Somerville in Carnes Crossroads. And then that worked well. So then I added a kids race, because that seemed like a great idea, a little girls only event. And I should say that the events are women only. That's kind of a big part of this. And then there was another event in Charleston, in Mount Pleasant. And then Sarah joined me, and the rest is history. And then we, this year, went gangbusters and decided to purchase the Ramblin' Rose series. And now we have 6 triathlons and 1 running event.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, once I heard about it, I couldn't wait to jump on, and I've been to 2 of the events, so I'm addicted to She Tries. I'm going to see how many I can do this year. But before we get into that, Sarah, why don't you share with us your why? Like, why did you think She Tries was a great idea to join in?
Yeah, well, I actually met Angie when she was working at that store when pre-kids I was getting into triathlon for the first time. I had no idea what I was doing. And I walked in and she made me feel like not an idiot and super comfortable in what I needed to do. I did everything she told me to do. I was the sponge, bought all the gear, all the things. And I was an entrepreneur in a different company at that time, and we stayed in touch over the years, especially through social media. And so when she and I both started families, I honestly thought that I wasn't going to get back into triathlon. I just wasn't sure that I would ever find the time or like flexibility to do that sort of thing. And Angie pulled me right in as a volunteer and participant with with She Tries and with Try It for Life. And so I kind of was on the volunteer and spectator side for a little while when she was first getting started. And at some point I was just like, I want to get involved on a deeper level. And I could wake up every day and talk about what we do for women in our community. Like I could do it without my first cup of coffee. I could do it until I go to sleep at night. And it seems like if you have that kind of drive and interest in what you're doing, then that's really where you should put the bulk of your time. So I had a similar conversation with my husband, and I was like, this is what I think I'm supposed to be doing right now. So I went to Angie and then asked her if she wanted a partner. So luckily she said yes. And we've just been hitting the road running, taking this to more cities and more women with the vision that Angie set out with, and it's awesome.
I absolutely love it. And I love that it's for women. I love that you both have families, not that that's required, but you understand that sometimes you can get overwhelmed by the little ones and not make time for yourself. And so I love that you've created a safe space for women at any age. It seems like you have, the little ones and you have, women of all magnitudes of life. So, including myself. So I love participating this year. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the distances for swim, bike, and run? And then you have another event, right? Which is swim and run. Maybe you can give us a little information about that.
Yeah, so we start with very beginner-friendly, approachable distances. They're the sprint distance category of triathlon, which is your shortest distances. So typically the swims are 200 to 250 yards, depending on the location. The bike ride is usually 8 or 9 miles, and the run is usually 2 or 3 miles. We do offer aquathlon, which is swim run, at a couple of our events. And so you swim those distances and run, and you take out the bike portion. We also offer duathlon, which is run, bike, run. And the first run is usually 1 mile or half the distance of the second run. And then for the first time next year, we're going to be offering a really fun event in Winston-Salem. I'm going to let Angie tell you about it because it was her vision.
Yeah, so because I love craziness and more things, we had a triathlon in Winston-Salem, and the area just didn't seem to really have a triathlon focus, I think. So we've been advised by one of our best partners up there, Emily from Fleet Feet, and she was like, well, why don't you just do a women's only run? We don't have any of those, and I think you should do a really unique distance. To which she suggested, not unique, but a 10K, a different distance. So because we're She Tries and we like to do things different and fun, we decided why not try 5 miles. Still approachable for someone who hasn't run that distance before, can still be a very good goal with proper training. And then there's also a 1 mile disco dash, and the whole thing is themed different eras of music. So we will have music at the miles, and people are encouraged to dress up, and
it's an evening run, so
yeah,
it's
we're just trying to make it a party.
Yeah, it's basically a party that involves some running.
I love that. And then, of course, there's those that want to run the whole time, and there's those that want to walk and dance.
Right.
So I'm assuming you're welcoming both, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
See, so I love that. And now, is that women only as well?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we get the whole course to ourselves
Yes.
again,
Yes.
and with music.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So when is that one?
That one is April 26th.
Okay. All right. I will
Very
look
nice.
at my calendar. But that sounds fun.
Yeah, and people really loved the run course at Winston, so we decided to use the same course that we used in the try, just make it a little bit longer.
Yeah, I love Winston-Salem. I've only been there one time, but it was beautiful. So I can imagine adding the music and women on the course. Yeah, that sounds super fun. All right, so tell me, for this past year, what do you feel like was your favorite experiences from each of the locations?
Oh, wow.
Ooh, I have mine by
Go
far.
ahead.
It'll probably make me
Let's hear it.
cry, and I hate to cry. But my favorite, I think, it was at Huntersville, actually, and I met. So my favorite thing to do at the event is once the event kicks off, I like to talk to almost everybody in the line for swimming, because I just think it's a time where people are nervous, and it's a really great time just to get to know people. So I was talking to this one lady, and I mean I don't even know how old she was. She was an older woman, and she was telling me that she had done triathlons before, but she hasn't done any in a while, and that the grandma, brought her daughter and her granddaughter, and they were all doing the event together. So my mom actually did our first event at She Tries at Ion. She was 75. Well, technically she was 74, but because of USAT age, it made her 75, and she was so irritated. But it just really, I don't know, something about this mom, daughter, grandmother combo just really hit me in a positive way. And the fact that the grandma brought the two, was just it was just so special. I think I took 100 pictures and 100 videos. I still have the content I haven't done a whole lot with yet, but I just so much enjoyed meeting them, and they were so positive, and I mean, I just was so happy to offer that to them.
That's so inspiring, though. 75, I mean, that's goals. I'm about to be 50, and I'm like, I've told my husband, I want to do this forever. Like, this is just, when people ask, when are you going to retire? I'm like, no, this is a lifestyle for me. Like, I want to do it forever. And when I hear about those that are 75, even on the USA Triathlon team, I've seen women in their 80s, and I'm like, oh, I totally want to keep doing this by then to keep the
First
movement.
participant this year was 87.
Woo! What location?
That was Chapel Hill.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. See? And I love that you have the space. Like, you've created this event that, it could be their first try, or they just want to stay fit and then look forward to She Tries coming back to it. So for those that are watching or listening and wondering, can I get started? You absolutely can. Clearly you can start at any age, and clearly you can come back at any age. So we encourage you to participate in She Tries. Sarah, what was your favorite from this past year?
Well, getting to know the North Carolina communities was really special for me because we've been in South Carolina since we started, and it was a big move for us to take She Tries into the other cities. And every city has a different culture to it and feel to it and vibe to it, and just kind of getting to know the personalities of each city was really fun for me. And the cheering on of the final finisher in Charlotte and Huntersville and Chapel Hill, especially, all of them, we do this, but those had the biggest crowds and the most energy and probably the most tears. And that's just something that we really care about in our organization. No one's going to finish with the course all taken down and the finish line gone. You're going to finish in style, and you're going to finish as if you were the first finisher, or even with more people, because they're all cheering for you. And all the stress and all the work that goes into putting on these events, when you have those moments happening, you feel like it's all been worth it, and it's like why you do what you do. So sometimes these women feel like quitting. Sometimes they're like, in their heads a little bit on the course, and we'll get a couple of volunteers out there with them, just kind of staying with them and chatting it up, like keeping the conversation going while they're on the walk or run course. And they stay in it and finish. And it's just, I don't know, that's what we're about, is just like, it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be, a PR, but you're going to do it, and you can do it. So
And the person who finishes first has the same medal as the person who finishes last.
yes.
So, and the person who finishes last probably has about 30 to 40 people cheering them on as they go in. So I feel like that's where the party's at. So if you ever think, I don't want to do it, I'm going to be last, that's really where the party is. So that's never anything you have to worry about. Speaking of that, something that I was surprised by with your registration and what came with, you offered quite a few things to participants when they registered. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so again, we didn't want to just put on a race and paint it pink. Or I didn't want to, that wasn't my mission when I started She Tries. I wanted it to be an experience. I wanted it to be a memorable experience. I wanted it to be different than just going to a local 5K or going to an all, race or all like genders triathlon. So we've definitely built it up over the years from what I initially started with. But when someone registers, we want them to be successful. So we give them a training plan. Like, it's just included. That's just what we do. We have coaches that write training plans. So once you register, you'll be able to download a training plan. We try to give support through clinics along the way because we want women to be prepared. We want them to know what they should practice and what they are going to get into and how they're going to feel and what things are going to look like event day. And then we also provide, a lot of times you go to an event and they take pictures of you and they're pretty cool, but they're also expensive. So we decided that we would just buy all the photos. So when you're done with your event, you get the link and you can download any photo you want from the race. Whether it's you or a friend you met, you get them all. So that was another thing that's really important to us. A finisher's keepsake or medal is something that is important when you come to a South Carolina event. Participants get a keepsake that's designed by a local jewelry artist. We have yet to adapt that to North Carolina because we didn't want to culture shock everybody right away with our She Tries way. So they are more of a traditional medal, but you also get that. And then you get a swag bag full of all kinds of cool stuff, from our amazing, amazing sponsors.
And a shirt.
And a shirt that, hopefully you'll want to wear a lot and, make me proud of your accomplishment. Yeah, they're great. And they're pretty, different colors. And then you get a swim cap. And there's something else I was going to say. Oh, good food. We try to have good food. Mm-hmm. I think it's good.
Yeah.
We try to have some.
This year was great.
Fun, just different things that appeal to lots of people at the finish line. At a party.
Yes, party. Speaking of, you had some interesting sponsors that I didn't, I wasn't aware of before. Can you share a couple of your sponsors?
Yeah. So in South Carolina, we've worked with Cruise Subaru, which has been our title sponsor for several years, and we've loved partnering with them. And I personally love my Subaru that I got after we met with Ken for the first time. And we also work with Preston Moore, who's a excellent real estate agent here. Noah Moore who works closely with us and has been a supporter since Angie first dreamed this up. We worked with no, I'm going to, with Miller Swimming, who is a coach in the Charlotte area. And so several of our Huntersville and Charlotte women trained with him, did a clinic with him. He was an excellent sponsor for us this year. Tice Wind of Swivel Bottle, he's also a triathlete. He invented this crazy cool sports bottle to use when you're running. And those were our giveaways this year, which you know. You got one.
I podiumed.
That's right, you did.
I got one for free. Yay.
Yay. We really have amazing sponsors. It would take a really long time to list them all, but I'm sure
one of my favorites was Splendor Water.
Oh, Splendor Water. Yes. This amazing beautiful bottled water.
Who do you get the popcorn from? Sorry, I'm
Lesser Evil. Oh my gosh. The best.
Yes.
I'm in my cabinet right now.
I mean, I'm going to eat that popcorn forever. Because not only were they so cool in sending it to us, but they, it's delicious. It's amazing popcorn. So definitely eat some Lesser Evil popcorn.
So, I mean, I brought that up because I just love that during your event, there was just so much than just the race. You had all kinds of goodies. You had all kinds of support. Like you said, Miller Swimming. Again, I love the popcorn. I loved my gift for doing the podium, but I just found that it was very unique and interesting. So it sounds like we can look forward to that this year and probably more as we get into 2025. Maybe you can share with us how many races you do have and what are the locations.
Yeah, we have 6 triathlon events. I'm going to try to do it in order. Mount Pleasant, May 17th. That's at the Ion Club here in Mount Pleasant. And then June 22nd is South Charlotte at the Harris Y. Then September 14th? Why am I drawing a blank? In September, we have Chapel Hill, Carnes Crossroads in Somerville, and they're on successive weekends, not Labor Day weekend. So there's that. It's like having 6 children and trying to remember everybody's social security number. And then October 11th is our brand new event.
Wait, did you get Huntersville?
I said Chapel Hill, Huntersville, and Carnes Crossroads all in September. Okay. And then we have a brand new event, October 11th in Winterville, North Carolina, which we're very excited about. That community's been working for over a year to bring us in. And so we think everyone should sign up for all 6 of those triathlons.
And what is special about, can I ask Sarah a question? What is special about Carnes and Huntersville?
Carnes and Huntersville have She Tries Girl events, which is our youth event aimed at girls 4 and up. It's the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life, and it immediately follows the women's event. So you'll have girls out there on tricycles or, swimming with floaties, whatever it takes to get them to go through this shortened, obviously, course for our young girls. We think it's really important to give them that boost and confidence, help them learn a new sport maybe, and to kind of build our triathlon community from the youngest ages up.
So what type of, I know we mentioned clinics a little bit, what type of clinics do you all offer?
So we feel what we like to offer, kind of the bare minimum. Some areas do different clinics. Some have different sponsors that, have different ideas. But we really, really like to have a swim clinic just to let people know, how the event works, how the strokes work, what, how it's going to feel. So a swim clinic is really valuable. We do a transition clinic, which when you go from swim to bike to run, you need to know how to go from swim to bike to run and what you need to do. So do you wear the same clothing? Do you get naked in the parking lot? That answer is no.
It's always no.
What do you need to bring? What do you need to think about? What's going to make your event more smooth? What's going to make somebody more comfortable when it comes to event day? And we think preparing them, obviously, through clinics like this, and the transition clinic is one of them. How your legs are going to feel when you go from bike to run, why they call it a brick. And then we also like to do a preview the course, where we take women out generally to see a portion of the course or ride the course, just to really give you an overview of how the day is going to go, what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, and to be able to do that and be able to ask questions and get all those questions answered ahead of time. But you know as well as we know, when you do a triathlon, everything moves 100 miles an hour. Your brain's going. You're going to forget things, even if you were taught and practiced them. That's kind of the fun of it. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of it, right? And we just learn for the next time.
One thing I did love, I always have a brain moment on transition days, which is great that I walk through. I mean, I think Charlotte, I was like, hey, when I come out, which way do I run? And I was like, let me ask the race directors. They might know. But the other thing that I loved about your event is you had amazing volunteers. And for those that say, you know what, I may not be able to do it, but I would love to volunteer, what type of volunteer opportunities do you offer for your event?
Oh man, we need all the volunteers. In an ideal world, we have like 50 to 70 volunteers helping make our events happen. You get a pink shirt and a snack and all the good karma that you need for the rest of the year. And we have opportunities from everything of like packing swag bags, unloading and loading the U-Haul, or the Morningstar truck, being in transition, being on the run course, directing on the bike course, being at the finish line, being at the food tent. There's a lot of different areas that need different sorts of people. If you feel very passionate about participant safety, having you on the bike course would be amazing. If you don't want to be that far from the finish line, the food tent's a good spot for you. And, just having a smiling, encouraging face anywhere that is a part of our scene is so important to us. So we have school organizations that volunteer. We work with other nonprofit organizations to sort of highlight them and ask them to volunteer. The Try It for Life community is usually a great source of volunteers for several of our events. So we would encourage you, even if you want to volunteer at one to see what it's like before you sign up for another, that's also an option to check out.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it. I thought like, even if I can't do every race, maybe I can volunteer. So there's options.
Well, your energy would be greatly appreciated. In
I
whatever
mean,
form you can bring it, we love to have it.
Yeah, I love to be there. In my mind, I'm like, if I do the upthon, then I can go back on the course and, give out water and volunteer. So there's options. You can maybe do that, the upthon, and then go back out. There's plenty to do.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage everyone to look up She Tries. So how can they get more information about She Tries?
You can visit our website, shetries.com. It's shetris.com. All of our events are listed there, including the 5-mile fun run that's in April. And there's what we call a participant guide linked there, and that goes into detail of kind of how the day runs and some specifics about that particular city's event goes. You can also email us. I love email. Sarah with an H at shetries.com. We also are on social media, on Facebook and on Instagram. You can send us a direct message that way. Angie's probably going to answer you there. And we have what we call the Journeys community, which is where people can just join in and ask any question you have, because surely somebody else has it, from like, what should I wear, to does anybody have a bike I can borrow, or is there a run group in Charlotte that I could meet up with? So that's what that community is for, to kind of help women support each other through this journey of triathlon. So lots of different ways to find us.
And I think what I love about social media is you have a lot of fun reels there. So if people want to see what was it like this past year, what am I getting myself into, you can go online on social media and see some of the old videos. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Again,
and you'll see Angie and I being very silly.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. You welcome all kinds of energy. And if you're nervous about it, I would just say give it a try. I thought it was so important to bring you ladies on Exposed Vegan Media just because, there's some that are just like, I haven't done it in a while. How do I get started? I think She Tries is perfect. If you just want to keep your sprint level going, like I keep trying to do to go fast, She Tries, I think, is perfect. And if it's your first time, She Tries is perfect. So I would encourage you to visit their website. You can see the owners here. They're amazing. I had the pleasure of meeting them this year, and I can't wait to connect with you later next year in 2025.
We can't
Thank
wait to have
you.
you. And having your voice in this community is really important, and your representation and what you do for the community is just incredible. So I'm really proud of all the work that you do and all the success you've had as an athlete.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. It's been great to partner with you both this year, and I can't wait for what's in store next year. So thank you for coming. Before we go, is there anything you want to leave people with? I know we've said a lot, but any closing words or remarks?
Maybe you can take Andrew's mantra into 2025. I think it's a good one for when you're thinking about what you're going to do with She Tries this year.
My cue to say my
Yes, this is your cue.
um, my mantra since day one has been for this audience has been inhale confidence and exhale doubt.
So do that and then register at shetries.com.
Registration is now open.
It is open.
Thank you for joining me, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for watching Exposed Vegan Media. If you like this episode, please share it with others and subscribe. We look forward to sharing more information with you.